Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to do another Scottish beer, and this is my second visit to this brewery, but the last experience I had with them was pretty damn good. So for this one we're going to return to Fife and we're going to do my second review from Beath Brewing, who are of course from Cowdenbeath. We're going to go to the other end of the spectrum for this one and try one of their dark beers. So this one's called Mad World and it's a porter coming in at 4% ABV. So it should be a really quite nice beer. This, definitely looking forward to it, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Beath Brewing before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Scottish beers that are reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to. And please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, just a little bit about Beath Brewing then before we open this beer up. So Beath Brewing were founded back in 2016 by Ian McGrath, and Ian had actually been a home brewer for a good 5 years or so before he started the company. So he produced a 4% red ale which was called Are You With Me for the Fife Camera Festival in 2016, and this sold out fastest. And in the camera festivals, that of course, it's of course tradition that the beer that sells out the fastest is the one that wins the festival. And this was particularly impressive at the time because the brewery was only 6 weeks old, or it had only been registered as a business for 6 weeks. So they've been doing incredibly well, and I have to admit, as I said with the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee review that I did before, I was really impressed with that beer. So I hope this one is kind of the same standard. But this one is basically Ian essentially brews in his garage. So this is the kind of this is the very kind of beginnings of this brewery. But on the basis of their beer so far, I think they are going to do pretty well. So hopefully they can upscale over the next little while, and I'm sure there will be many interesting things to come from Ian in the years to come. But literally, Beath Brewing is a dude brewing in his garage. So best of luck to him, and I hope this beer is another cracker like the last one was. So yeah, I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork then before we open this one up. As I mentioned to you, this guy is a 4% porter. This one has Cascade hops in it. The malt base is Maris Otter Pale, Cara malt, roast barley. Apparently there's some peated malt in there and some torrefied wheat as well. It says on the side here, loads of roasted and Cara malt. Cascade hops make this great dark ale a bit mad with the amount of roasted malt. Handcrafted in small batches, bottle conditions, store upright, all of these kind of things. And it said on the top here, and I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad, the dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. And I find it hard to tell you. I find it hard to, yeah. I think he likes to put lyrics and stuff on his, I think he likes to put lyrics and things on his bottles and stuff, because of course the last one, like I say, it was named the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee after the Glory Hammer song. But yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. 4% porter from Cowdenbeath in Fife. Wee bit of a head on this one. Maybe I've poured that just a little bit too aggressively, but you know, it'll settle down and it should be okay. So yeah, as you can see, and as you would expect from a porter beer, it's poured a nice kind of dark ebony rosewood colour. There's a solid 2 fingers of a frothy, quite dark tan coloured head on this one actually. It is almost like a kind of dark coffee coloured head. 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, it does look really quite nice. If I hold it up to the light, there is a wee hint of a ruby edge to it, but I think overall it's fair to describe this one as a really kind of dark ebony rosewood colour. But you know, it looks really nice, so let's take a closer look at the aroma and see how we get on. Yeah, that smells really nice actually. So with this one, it smells really chocolatey, but there's a good bit of a roasty black malt backbone to it. So black malt's just backing up, a little bit of chocolate on top of that, but you can really get some nice kind of brown sugary elements out of it as well. You can smell that kind of roasted, almost treacle character coming out of this one. The brown sugars are really nicely done in this. There's a wee bit of a bready character as well. And you can smell, just if you take it in on the sharper end of the nose, you can smell a little bit of just a slightly floral, grassy kind of hop, and maybe there's a wee bit of red fruit. But of course, when it's a porter beer like this, the nose is dominated by the chocolate, the black malt, and the chocolate, the black malt, and the sort of dark roasted character as well. There's maybe a little bit of a woody kind of nutty element to this one. I'd say more a kind of nutty character. when you take it in a little bit more deeply. But it does smell really quite nice. As I always say with your beers, just take a little bit of time to enjoy the aroma before you get stuck into them. But this one for me definitely leans towards the nice sort of sweeter side of things with a porter, although it does have that kind of roasty character that you'd expect. As I always say, when it comes to these old English styles of beer, I always enjoy the darker ones better than the bitters and the gold nails and things like that. But I've got a feeling this one's more likely to be more a kind of American style porter. But yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma for yourself. But let's get stuck into this one then. So this one is Mad World, a 4% porter from Beath Brewing over in Cowdenbeath in Fife. Let's get stuck in. Slàinte. That's nice actually. The flavour profile of that is really quite nice. The one thing I would say about it, for a porter, for me, the mouthfeel, it should just be a little bit smoother than it is. It does come across as being just a little touch over-carbonated, but the flavour profile that it has is really, really nice. Yeah, I think that's my first impression of it, definitely. The flavour profile that this beer has is really, really nice. So it's the malt base kind of thing. It's just so smooth and it just blends together really well. It's one of these ones where all the flavours just go together really well and it gives you this kind of nice complexity. So you can feel a little bit of that black malty character that just rolls across the middle of your palate there. There's some nice kind of bready notes in there. I'm guessing that'll be the Maris Otter. But on top of that, you can pick up the sort of chocolatey notes, and right in the middle of your palate you can pick up some of these nice sort of caramelly notes. It becomes a little bit biscuity as the flavour progresses, I would say. But I do just like how everything goes together. When you progress further and further into the aftertaste, it does become a little bit woody and kind of nutty. It's got a little bit of that kind of complexity to it. I'd say it's more of a kind of woody flavour, but in the early stages it does have a little bit more of a kind of nutty quality to it. But it's got a really good level of complexity to it, this beer. It's nice. But yeah, I do like how that comes across. The aftertaste that this beer gives you is really, really nice. It's up, the aftertaste actually is up there with some of the best porters that I've had actually. I would definitely say that about this one. As I say, I think the one thing, if anything, that just puts me off this beer a little bit is it's just a little bit over-carbonated. For me, a porter has to be a little bit smoother than that. It just needs to smooth out a little bit, and then this would be one of the best porters that you'd find in Scotland quite easily. Just take the carbonation down that little bit, and the flavour profile of this beer would make it a really, really good porter. One of the top in Scotland, easily. But yeah, it goes together really nicely. The hoppy side of things, on the back corners of the palate, there's a little touch of earthiness there. As you come forward along the sides of your tongue, you can pick out there's a little bit of a kind of floral, grassy sort of thing, but there's a wee, it mainly stays earthy. The earthiness comes forward quite a little bit, then just round that front curve of the tongue, there's a little bit of grassiness there. Behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get that little oily bubble, and there's some of these kind of red fruity esters coming out of the beer, and it just, everything in this beer just blends together really well. Like I said, the flavour profile of this one is really, really nice, but as you can see the carbonation here. There's just a little bit too much of it for me. But yeah, the fruity side of things, behind the front curve of the palate, there's a little bit, it's got an almost kind of candied fruit character. It's not quite cranberry. As I always say, it reminds me of these little heart-shaped sweets in the Haribo Star Mix. It has a little bit of that to it, this one. And it does have a little bit of sharpness in the beginning. It might be that just because I'm drinking this beer a little bit late. This is October 2017, and I think, yeah, it was recommended that you drink this beer this month. So October 2017, you know, it is getting towards the end of its kind of shelf life, if you like, so maybe that's why the kind of red fruity things are coming out a little bit. It can be a little sign of oxidation. Maybe that's a little bit to do with the carbonation as well, so do bear that in mind with this review actually. I'm maybe drinking this beer just a little bit too late. But the flavour profile that it has at this stage is pretty nice. The red fruits have a little bit of sharpness, but then it just mellows out to give you a nice sort of candied red fruit ester, and then you start getting these malty aspects just pushing their way out. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one then, I'd say it's quite light bodied, this beer. The carbonation, as I said, is really quite crisp in this one. It's just slightly over carbonated for me, but that's personal preference. Some other people might like it to have that level of carbonation. I just think it would be, you would get more from the flavours of this one if it just was smoothed out a little bit. It's definitely a wet mouthfeel, this one, rather than anything else. Like I say, the malt base has a really good balance between the kind of bitter things and then the sweeter aspects of it, and the bready characters balance it out really, really well. The hops are nice, there's a little bit of bitterness there, but overall it's quite smooth, and then you've got a little bit of that juicy fruity character as well. It starts off a little bit sharp. As I say, that might just be down to the age of the beer actually, because I'm drinking it quite late on its shelf life, but then it does mellow out just to be a little bit kind of nice and juicy. But overall, it's a really nicely done beer. I think if you just could get some of the carbonation out of that, that would easily be one of the best porters that you would come across in Scotland. He's done a very, very good job with it. Again, I was impressed with the Unicorn Invasion of Dundee as well. So I think, you know, on the basis of these two beers, I've tried one at the darker end of the spectrum, I've tried one at the lighter end of the spectrum. I think this brewery, you know, with a, you know, if they can invest in things and get their volume and stuff up, they would actually do it very, very well. So the best of luck to them with that, because that's two nice beers I've had from them now, so I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for some of their other things. But the Mad World, really nice porter. The malt base that this one has is really, really nice. So yeah, if you get the chance to try it, have a go at it. I'm not sure how regularly brewed it is. As I say, this brewery is pretty much a guy brewing out of his garage, but he does some great beers, and if you get the chance to try any of them, I do recommend that you have a look at them. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below if you have tried it for yourself. It's always great to review these kind of new Scottish breweries for you as well. But until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out Beath Brewing, check out your local beer stores, and keep an eye out for these guys. But this was the Mad World from Beath Brewing, a 4% porter that's got a really nice malt base, and I recommend you try some of their beers. So until the next time, it's Slans just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Cheers.